Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's morning report on Monday, the 25th of April, with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Handtech Markets. We've got a fairly cautious open to the markets today. Nothing too significant, but a bit of correction coming through on the equity markets. FTSE down 0.5%, DAX actually down just over 1%. And the sort of interesting moves have come through the dollar, really. The dollar, which has been showing signs of possibly basing out, just sort of coming up to test that April high on Friday. Just backing off that now, but we've got that key Federal Reserve meeting later on in the week, and it looks to be that markets could be sort of trying to position themselves ahead of that. And we've got, to be honest, a whole batch of central bank meetings with also the RBNZ and also the BOJ as well. So traders will be sort of positioning themselves, I think, in the early days of this week ahead of all these meetings on Wednesday and Thursday. So it could be quite interesting. But at the moment, we've got a slight, as I said, slight correction down on the dollar. Whether that continues or not, the oil price is basically just consolidating. Really, it's sort of forming on the hourly charts. You can see it better, but a little bit of a near-term consolidation on this breakout. And again, that's a sort of 43 figure area on that WTI. Is the initial support line there, but nothing too significant in terms of a dip back. It's about just over 1% down on the day, but these commodity prices generally have been pretty strong. Copper has been on the rise, and also we've had a decent rally in iron ore as well. So these metals prices are sort of pushing higher. That is generally supportive of risk. So that is, again, should ultimately be positive for risk appetite, or be a signal of positive risk appetite at the moment. But just a slight correction today, but nothing too significant as yet. In terms of what we've got to look forward to today, well, we've got a little bit of data. We've had the German IFO data, business climate, out at 9 o'clock this morning. We had that, and that just slightly disappointed, and just took a few ticks off the DAX anyway, that's for sure. But euro dollar didn't really react to it, and sort of looking out this afternoon for the new home sales for the States, that's expected to come in at about 521,000. Which is an improvement of around about 1.5% there, but that would be still pretty positive, wouldn't it? Up around the highs of the last sort of 12 months or so. Certainly positive moves that would be up certainly above the average anyway. So that takes me to my chart today, which is euro sterling. Now, are we on the brink of seeing a sterling rally? Now, we've seen a turnaround in euro sterling in the last couple of weeks. Really, we've seen these sort of uptrend channels being broken, and you're seeing support where previously the support was being used as a basis where old resistance was being used as a basis of new support. We're now seeing that broken. That old resistance at 79.30 got broken to the downside. It's now pushing back. You've seen the loss of that reaction low at 78.28. And it seems to now be as though that we're pushing back towards the 76.90 support, which was the February-March lows. We've had a bit of a whipping around today. Initially, you've had the initial weakness and then bouncing, but this hourly chart certainly suggests that I think rallies are still a chance to sell. Look at that hourly RSI negatively configured. You've got this rally on the RSI back towards the sort of the 60 mark, which tends to be around about where the rallies sort of fall over 55.60. So this is just ultimately looks to be an unwinding move. So you'd look at the next resistance overhead, you'd say 78.50 minor support. So 78.50 to 79 sort of, and then up towards 79.20. It's a pretty strong area of resistance now, so I'd be looking at that as sort of giving you a chance to sell if you saw it, and that would also sort of have the RSI unwinding back towards 60 again. So if you saw a continuation of this rally up towards sort of 78.50, about 50 ticks higher from where we are here, I think that would be probably around about where the sellers will look to come back in again, because certainly it looks at the moment as though sterling is beginning to rally. I'll talk you through that on the cable chart in my analysis appraisals in a bit, but it certainly looks as though cable or sterling is beginning to improve, and that's coming through the announcements of politicians in the last few days. President Obama wading in on the Brexit debate, and also Hillary Clinton as well, and both sort of coming out in favour of UK remaining in the European Union. Certainly is supportive for sterling. So I wish you good luck in your trading on euro sterling today, and I will speak to you later. Thank you.